Hello my soulmates, welcome back to my channel. This is Sew with Pivot. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, give this video a thumbs up. Thank you. So today we're going to be learning how to make this beautiful one shoulder top and this skirt. Enjoy as you watch. To make this, I used about 1 yard of this plain Duchess fabric and then 1 yard of this flowered chiffon. But I didn't exhaust the one yard each, so less than 1 yard will do, depending on the age. Anyway, I made this for a girl of 8 to 9, so enjoy. Our fabric is folded into 4, that is, we are having 4 folds. We are cutting the back and the front at the same time. Our top length is 13 inches plus 1 inch for elastic band, that's 14 inches, while our shoulder is 12 inches divided by 2, that's 6 inches. So we mark it out. Next is our armhole measurements, and the armhole I'm going to be working with is 6 inches. You can even decide to make it 5.5, so that it won't be exposed, you understand, but I'm working with 6. So we go ahead and get our neck width. The neck width I'm working with is 3 inches. So I marked it out. The next measurement we are going to be taking is our chest measurement, which is 30 inches divided by 4. We have 7.5. Then I went ahead to add 2 inches. You can use 1.5 if that suits you. Basically, we want it to be a little bit free than our seam allowance, so I use 2 inches. Now you will mark this same measurement on the waistline, because we're going to be using elastic to gather that waistline. So I brought my measurements down, then I connected it this way. I will also go ahead and connect my armhole, and then we cut. So after cutting, this is what we have, the back and the front. So we're having 2 pieces. So place them together like this. Let me bring it closer. Let me turn it over. So I've turned it over. This view is okay, at least it's closer. So now I'll go ahead and connect that neck width measurement we measured earlier to the armhole. So I'm just trying to sketch it out. Okay. Then now I'm going to draw it well so that you will see it. So you just basically sketch it out this way. So we are cutting this part off. So after cutting out, this is what we have. You can see it. So the next thing I'll do is to go ahead and join the shoulders. You sew at this point. For the frills, I'm going to be using this long piece. I have 2 pieces of this. The length is, you can use 5 or 6 inches. I think I ended up using 5 inches, even though what I measured here was 6. Now for the width, we have 56 inches, and I'm using 2 pieces of this, I told you. So now we'll join it together to form 1 piece, then we'll run a gather stitch or pleats. So this is what we have for our bodies. You can see I've joined the shoulder. So the next thing I'm going to be doing is to finish up my armhole with a bias strip. So I'll just use it and turn my armhole over. Then I'll bring in my gathered frills, my piece. I gathered it. So I told you, you can either decide to gather or pleat. Now mind you, this is the back of our fabric, so I'll put the frills inside, you understand, and sew it. I'm sorry my camera wasn't showing here, I didn't notice it earlier. So we'll fix it like this, and so let me sew it so that you see what it looks like. So I've sewn it, and this is it. This is my armhole. I'm done with it. And then this is the frills. You can see this is the front of the fabric and the frills is at the back. You can see it. So now I'm going to turn it over. I'll flip it over to the front, and then please give it a good press, and then you top stitch. We're not having light and I really needed to make this tutorial, so you top stitch. Just give it a good press, it will relax, then you top stitch. So this is what I have after top stitching it. You can see it. Okay, so the next thing we're going to be doing is to finish up that frill. Like, we want to join it together. So I'll bring the two of them together like this, front facing front. Then I will sew on 1 inch allowance just on the frills. Don't sew on the fabric, just I'll stop here, just on the frills. So let me sew it so you see what it looks like. So this is what we have after sewing. You can see it, I've sewn it. So let me turn it over. You can see this is what it looks like. So we'll now go ahead to finish up the sides of our main bodice. So I'll just flip it over this way and then hold it together, and then we'll take our frills inside. Let me show you the frills. You can see this is the frills trying to poke out. So I'll push it inward, then put my two fabric pieces together like this, and then sew on 1 inch allowance. Then I also come over to this side and also sew on 1 inch allowance. And then after sewing, this is what we have. As you can see from the thumbnail, it has a strap. So what we're going to do, we're going to come in by 3.5 inches. I'll mark this 3.5 inches at the front and also mark it at the back. So that's where we're going to be fixing our sleeve strap. Now, for us to know the measurements we are going to be taking for our sleeve strap, we are going to fold this in like this. You can see how I folded it. Then I'll measure from here to here. I'll measure that gap, what we cut out. So from here to on top of the fabric is what? 6 inches. And this is folded into 2. That means we are using 12 inches. No need to add allowance because I already measured it on top of the fabric. So the width of this fabric is 2 inches while the length is 12 inches. So we'll fold it into 2 and sew. Then I turned it out and this is what we have. Also give it a good press. Then you bring your main bodice and then fix it under 3.5 inches we marked. You fix it like this inward. You fix the front and also fix the back. So you sew it to the bodice. And then after sewing, this is what we have. So to finish up the waistline, I'll go ahead and fold this in by 1 inch and then we'll pass our elastic. Now the waist, her waist measurement is 28 inches. So you can go ahead and subtract 5, 6 or 8. I usually use 5, but today I decided to subtract 8. So the elastic I'm using is 20 inches. So I'll pass it in and this is what we have. Isn't this beautiful? So for these frills, you can go ahead and fold or you weave. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, share it to your friends, subscribe to my channel, okay? Thank you. Let's head over to the skirt cutting. So for our skirt, this fabric is on fold. So the width of the fabric we are working with is 40 inches. Mind you, our fabric is on fold. That's when you open it up, it will be what, 80 inches. So on fold we have 40 inches. While for the length, you measure out your skirt length, then plus 6 inches extra. So now we'll go ahead and mark out our extra 6 inches. So I'm marking it out. That extra 6 inches we added while we're cutting the fabric length. So we'll mark it out. We'll mark out 6 inches up to the end of the fabric. So this is going to form that frills we want on that waistline. So this is what we'll be using, and this also where we'll be passing our elastic. So just watch. So remember, my fabric was on fold, so I chalked it out both the front and the back. I marked out the 6 inches. So the next thing, I'll go ahead and mark out my length, the length of my skirt. So from that 6 inches, the length of the skirt I'm working with is 14 inches. So I did not add any allowance because the waistline will make up for the folding allowance. So let me turn it over. So this is it. This is our 6 inches line. So the next thing we're going to do is to fold this in by ½ inch. Then we fold again, a bigger fold, to meet that 6 inches line. Then we sew from this end to the other end. So this is what we have after sewing. You can see it, we've sewn it. So the next thing we're going to do is to mark out 1¼ inch. So we want to pass our elastic, so we'll mark out 1¼ inch. So you can see I'm marking it from where I folded it. So I'll just mark it all the way to the other end. So after marking it out, I'll go ahead and sew on that line. I will sew on that line I marked, and this is what we have. Let me bring it closer so that you can see the stitches. This is my chalk line. You can see it. This is the stitch. So I sewed it all the way to the other end. So that will form our elastic casing. So now this is the elastic I'll be using. It's a 1-inch elastic, and the measurement I'll be using is 20 inches. Remember, her waistline measurement is 28 inches. So I use 20 inches for the elastic. So I'll use my safety pin. I'll pass it on it like this. Then I'll pass it through that hole we made. You can see it through this first one. Yes, here. So that's where I'll be passing it. I got rhythm and blues and nothing to lose. I know my steps and my moves, and I got my dancing shoes. That's right, come on, that's right, come on, that's right. If all you want is to tap your feet, then baby, I got what you need. Oh, your friends on the floor. Oh, tell them what you got. Take my hand, stop fighting. Oh, please don't get me wrong. I just wanna be dancing with you all night long. Take my hand, stop fighting. But please don't get me wrong. I just wanna be. So after passing it, I'll drag it out. I'll remove my safety pin. Then I will adjust the waist so that it will fit in perfectly. Then I'll bring the two edges together like this, and then we sew on it. So we'll just close it up from this end to this other end, and this is what we have. We have sewn it, and this is what we have. So let me turn it over to the front so that you can see. So this is what we have. You can see how the waistline gathered. You can see the effect. So now we'll go ahead to fold this edge and sew, or you weave it, so it's up to you. So you can go ahead to touch it up with a bow tie or a rose, so just as you want. So I'll go ahead and stitch this bow tie on it, and I'm going to be showing you the end result. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, give this video a thumbs up. Thank you so much for watching up to this time. See you next time.